All right. So, my dear fellow listeners and viewers, I would like to share with you very quickly what you and I need to do to try our best to close the gap when it comes, to, the rich folks and the not so rich folks. So, basically, what is it that we can do to close the gap a little bit when it comes to the rich people and the poor people? So, let's keep it simple and put it that way. So, there are many examples I can give to you, but I will give a specific example because most recently we have been doing lots of pieces to kind of promote the culture and the music. When I say culture, I'm referring to the West Indian culture, but obviously we have grown over the years and we have broadened ourselves, and so we focus more on a broader piece when it comes to music. So not only the West Indian piece, but more to a global level. But there's something that we need to do to close that gap. And I mean, we all have that responsibility, right? And this is not an interest, this is not something that will interest everybody, which is fine. And so the reason why we are focusing on the people you probably have never seen, the people, them who are kind of hidden or not known, is because if we continuously, focus on the people who are already known in some shape or form, obviously some people are more known than some and so forth, and so forth, right? If we focus only on the people who are already known, we are actually contributing to the problem, right? So think about it. If I'm known, let's say if I'm a known singer, let's put it that way, right? And let's say people are only promoting me, right? What they're doing there, they're creating a huge problem between the people who are already known and the people who are very talented but are not known, right? So let's say the gap is like this. Anytime somebody promotes somebody who's already known, they're basically creating that gap between the people who are known and who are not so much known and actually deserve to be known, to be seen, right? And so that's one of the reasons why we actually are focusing on the people who you probably have never heard before, people who, are really good in what they do, but are not getting as much opportunity and so on. That's one of the reasons, obviously, we have added the diversity and inclusion concert on top of our Caribbean Dreams concert, which is a very successful concert, by the way. And so the purpose of this video is that when we are doing something, we have to make sure that we are doing it for a real good purpose, right? We cannot do something just to fulfill our own ego. We cannot do something for overnight fame. We cannot do things the easy way, right? A lot of people are doing things the easy way, right? So basically, what people will do, if I'm known, as an artist, or if I'm known as a musician, people will just take me. And if you are known, if you're watching, and if you are known in that area, people will be taking you and so forth, and they're just going to create a show that way, right? And that is the biggest mistake they're making. And apparently a lot of people work in a blind spot, and what that means is they're doing stuff and they're not even realizing that they're not doing the right thing, because anytime people do that, they're basically creating a huge gap between the people who are known and are not so much known, and that is a problem. And that's something we need to work on, that's for sure, no question about it. And so in order for us to close that gap, right, we need to make sure that we are giving opportunity to the people who deserve it, right? Meaning that they have the capability, they have the potential, they've served the community well. It's just that they were not giving opportunity. So if we continue to help the people and promote the people who never get that opportunity, if we continue to do it, we are going to close that gap. We are going to narrow that gap. We probably will never be able to close that gap, but at least we're narrowing that gap. But the problem is people are not doing that, and they're just doing things anyhow. And this also goes not only for the musical aspect. I just use that as an example because it is a huge problem, huge problem, and that's one of the reasons we are addressing it in so many different ways. But it happens in in politics as well too, right? And that's a whole different story there. But it continuously happen. People are not paying attention to the real issue. They're not trying to solve problems. They're not trying to come up with solution. They're basically kind of doing things anyhow and so forth, which is very, very dangerous, right? Extremely dangerous. And so we need to continuously to do things to set a better example to make sure that things are done properly and accordingly. That's one of the reasons why we have added, a competition portion to our events, right? Earlier, not too long ago, last month, we have done a competition portion where we have called the competition the Guinness Diaspora Music Monarch, where we had a strict criteria. So basically, a singing competition was based only on the voice, right? A variety of different pieces, 6 criteria, only based on voice, right? Not anything to do with likes and share, because that will deceive the purpose of what real talent is, right? So all of that. And our next concert coming up, later this month also will have a competition piece as well to, on top of our diversity and inclusion concert. And the reason for that is because we also want to continue to narrow that gap, right? We want to make sure that we are giving people the opportunity, but also the people who kind of deserve it the most. So think about that when you think about wanting to do something. Make sure that you're doing something that will allow you to narrow a gap. Don't duplicate anything. Don't reinvent the wheel or anything of that kind. And not everybody will get this video, by the way. Not everybody will understand it, and that's totally fine. But if you understand the message here of what we need to do to narrow the gap, that is a bonus on your end there. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. My name is Narine Sookram. Wishing you a great today and even a better tomorrow. I'll talk to you soon.